to Warhammer 40k 8th edition Character Duels episode 17, Abaddon the Despoiler versus Bjorn the Fell-Handed, and Bjorn will be equipped with an assault cannon. For this matchup, we will be using the official Warhammer 40k 8th edition rulebook, Chapter Approved 2018 edition, Codex Adeptus Astartes Space Wolves, Codex Heretic Astartes Chaos Space Marines 2, Rulebook Official Update version 1.4, Chapter Approved 2018 edition Official Update version 1.1, Warhammer 40,000 Update April 2019, The Big FAQ 2 2018 Revision 1, Codex Chaos Space Marines Official Update version 2.0, and finally Codex Space Wolves Official Update version 1.2. For a full overview of how this character duel will work, please check out the overview episode, which will be linked in the description down below. For this particular character duel, Abaddon the Despoiler will go first for games 1 and 3, and Bjorn the Fell-Handed will go first for games 2 and 4. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the first game. Going into the movement phase, Abaddon the Despoiler will remain still. Going into the psychic phase, he is not a psyker. Going into the shooting phase, he will fire the Talon of Horus in rapid fire range into Bjorn the Fell-Handed. 8 shots total thanks to Bolter Discipline, hitting on 2s re-rolling, getting 7 hits and 1 re-roll. And here's the re-roll, getting an 8th hit. Strength 4 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 6s. Getting 1 wound, minus 1 AP, so 1 4-up armor save, which passes. Moving along into the assault phase, Abaddon the Despoiler will declare a charge into Bjorn the Fell-Handed. And Bjorn will get to overwatch with both his assault cannon and his heavy flamer. So beginning with the assault cannon, 6 shots total, hitting on 6s, re-rolling 1s thanks to himself, getting 1 hit. Strength 6 versus Toughness 5 means wounding on a 3, and it fails to wound. Now for the heavy flamer, D6 shots, getting 1 shot. This weapon automatically hits, so 1 hit. Strength 5 versus Toughness 5 means wounding on a 4, and it wounds. Minus 1 AP, so 1 3-up armor save, which passes. And Abaddon the Despoiler will automatically make his charge. Going into the fight phase, Abaddon the Despoiler will place all of his attacks onto Bjorn the Fell-Handed. Beginning with 6 attacks based with the Talon of Horus, hitting on 2s re-rolling, getting all 6 hits. And the 6 will activate Death to the False Emperor, which will generate 1 additional attack. So 1 additional attack hitting onto 2 re-rolling, getting a hit, for 7 hits total. Strength 10 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 3s. And that was really good, getting 6 wounds. Minus 4 AP, so Bjorn will not get an armor save, and he does not have an invulnerable save. So they will do D3 damage apiece. So 6 D3 damage, getting a total of 10 damage. However, thanks to legendary tenacity, roll a D6 each time Bjorn the Fell-Handed loses a wound. On a 5-up, that wound is not lost. So rolling 10 D6, looking for 5-ups, passing 4, failing 6. So Bjorn the Fell-Handed will fall from 8 starting wounds down to 2. And now Abaddon the Despoiler will attempt to fight with Drachnian, rolling a D6, and it will activate on a 2-up, and it will for 6 additional attacks. Hitting on 2s re-rolling, getting 4 hits and 2 re-rolls, and here's the 2 re-rolls, getting 1 additional hit for 5 hits total. Strength 6 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 5s. And that was good, getting 3 wounds. Minus 3 AP, so 3 6-up armor saves, failing all 3, and they are 3 damage apiece for 9 damage total. So Bjorn the Fell-Handed will have 9 5-up legendary tenacity rolls, and passing 6, only failing 3. However, Bjorn the Fell-Handed will still lose his final 2 wounds and be killed off. Which means that Abaddon the Despoiler will win game 1. So we will now reset and go into game 2. Going into the movement phase, Bjorn the Fell-Handed will remain still. Going into the psychic phase, he is not a psyker. Going into the shooting phase, he will fire his assault cannon and his heavy flamer into Abaddon the Despoiler. Beginning with the assault cannon, 6 shots total, hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s thanks to himself, getting 4 hits and 2 re-rolls. And here's the 2 re-rolls, getting 1 additional hit for 5 hits total. Strength 6 versus Toughness 5 means wounding on 3s, and that's awful. Getting 1 wound. Minus 1 AP, so 1 3-up armor save, which passes. And now for the heavy flamer, D6 shots, getting 5 shots. This weapon automatically hits, so 5 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 5 means wounding on 4s, getting 2 wounds. Minus 1 AP, so 2 3-up armor saves, passing 1 and failing 1, and it is 1 damage. So Abaddon the Despoiler will fall from 8 starting wounds, down to 7. Going into the assault phase, Bjorn the Fell-Handed will declare a charge against Abaddon the Despoiler, and Abaddon the Despoiler will overwatch with the Talon of Horus in rapid fire range, 8 shots total thanks to Bolt or Discipline, hitting on 6s, re-rolling. That was really good, getting 4 hits and 4 re-rolls. And here's the 4 re-rolls. Still failing to hit, so 4 hits total. Strength 4 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 6s. All fail to wound. And Bjorn the Fell-Handed will automatically make his charge. Going into the fight phase, he will place all of his attacks onto Abaddon the Despoiler. 5 attacks base with True Claw, hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s thanks to himself, and a good thing too, getting 2 hits and 3 re-rolls. And here's the re-rolls. Now getting all 5 hits. Strength 12 versus Toughness 5 means wounding on 2s, re-rolling thanks to itself, getting 3 wounds and 2 re-rolls. And here's the re-rolls. Getting all 5 wounds. Minus 4 AP, so 5 4-up invulnerable save, passing 3 and failing 2, and they are D6 damage piece. So 2 D6 damage, getting a 4 and a 6. However, thanks to Dark Destiny, the damage is halved rounding up, so the 4 will become a 2, and the 6 will become a 3, for 5 damage total. So Abaddon the Despoiler will fall from 7 wounds, down to 2 left. And now Abaddon the Despoiler will get to strike back. 6 attacks base with the Talon of Horus, hitting on 2s, re-rolling thanks to himself, getting all 6 hits, and the 1 hit roll of a 6 will generate 1 additional attack thanks to Death to the False Emperor. So 1 additional attack, hitting on a 2, re-rolling, getting a hit. So 7 hits total. Strength 10 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 3s. Getting 5 wounds, and they are minus 4 AP, so Bjorn the Fell-Handed will not have an armor save, and they are worth D3 damage piece. So 5 D3 damage, getting 10 damage. So Bjorn the Fell-Handed will roll 10 5-up legendary tenacity rolls, passing 6, failing 4. And so Bjorn the Fell-Handed will fall from 8 starting wounds, down to 4. And now Abaddon the Despoiler will attempt to fight with Drakion, rolling a d6 looking for a 2-up to activate, which will fail. And so Abaddon the Despoiler will suffer 1 mortal wound. And so Abaddon the Despoiler will fall from 2 wounds, down to 1 left. Going into the morale phase, there are no morale checks to take. Going into the movement phase, Abaddon the Despoiler will remain locked in combat. Going into the psychic phase, he is not a psyker. Going into the shooting phase, he will be unable to fire. Going into the assault phase, he is already locked in combat. So going into the fight phase, Abaddon the Despoiler will place all of his attacks onto Bjorn the Fell-Handed. 6 attacks base with the Talon of Horus, hitting on 2s, re-rolling, getting all 6 hits, and rolling 1-6, which will activate Death to the False Emperor and generate 1 additional attack. So 1 additional attack, hitting on a 2, re-rolling, getting a hit for 7 hits total. Strength 10 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 3s. Getting 4 wounds, 2 fails, and 1 cocked dice. And here's the reroll of the cocked dice, getting a 5th wound. Minus 4 AP, so no armor save on Bjorn the Fell-Handed, and they will inflict D3 damage piece, so 5 D3 damage. Getting 11 damage total. So 11 5-up legendary tenacity rolls, passing 4, failing 7. And so Bjorn the Fell-Handed will lose his final 4 wounds and be killed off. Which means that Abaddon the Despoiler will win Game 2. So we will now reset and go into Game 3. Going into the movement phase, Abaddon the Despoiler will remain still. Going into the psychic phase, he is not a psyker. Going into the shooting phase, he will fire the Talon of Horus in rapid fire range into Bjorn the Fell-Handed. 8 shots total thanks to Bolt or Discipline, hitting on 2s, re-rolling, thanks to himself, getting 5 hits and 3 re-rolls. And here's the re-rolls. Getting all 8 hits. Strength 4 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 6s. Getting 3 wounds. Minus 1 AP, so 3 4-up armor saves. Failing all 3, and they are D3 damage piece. So 3 D3 damage, getting 8 damage. So rolling 8 5-up legendary tenacity rolls, passing 3, failing 5. And so Bjorn the Fell-Handed will fall from 8 starting wounds, down to 3 left. And now, moving along into the assault phase, Abaddon the Despoiler will declare charge against Bjorn the Fell-Handed. And Bjorn will begin his overwatch with his assault cannon, 6 shots total, hitting on 6s, rerolling 1s thanks to himself, getting 1 hit and 2 rerolls. And here's the 2 rerolls, still failing to hit, so 1 hit total. Strength 6 versus Toughness 5 means wounding on a 3, and it fails to wound. And now the Heavy Flamer will fire D6 shots, getting 2 shots. This weapon automatically hits, so 2 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 5 means wounding on 4s, getting 1 wound, minus 1 AP, so 1 3-up armor save, which fails, and it is 1 damage. So Abaddon the Despoiler will fall from 8 starting wounds down to 7, and now he will automatically make his charge. Going into the fight phase, he will place all of his attacks onto Bjorn the Fell-Handed. 6 attacks based with the Talon of Horus, hitting on 2s rerolling, getting all 6 hits, and one of them is a 6 which will activate Death to the False Emperor and generate 1 additional attack. So 1 additional attack hitting on 2 rerolling, getting a 7th hit. Strength 10 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 3s, getting 5 wounds, minus 4 AP and no armor save on Bjorn the Fell-Handed, and they are worth D3 damage piece. So 5 D3 damage, getting 11 damage. 11 5-up legendary tenacity rolls. Passing 4, failing 7. And so Bjorn the Fell-Handed will lose his final 3 wounds and be killed off. Which means that Abaddon the Despoiler will win Game 3. So we will now reset and go into Game 4. Going into the movement phase, Bjorn the Fell-Handed will remain still. Going into the psychic phase, he is not a psyker. Going into the shooting phase, he will fire his assault cannon and his heavy flamer into Abaddon the Despoiler. Beginning with the assault cannon, 6 shots total, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s thanks to himself, getting all 6 hits. Strength 6 versus Toughness 5 means wounding on 3s, getting 5 wounds, minus 1 AP, so 5 3-up armor saves, passing all 5. And now for the heavy flamer, D6 shots, getting 2 shots. This weapon automatically hits, so 2 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 5 means wounding on 4s, getting 1 wound, minus 1 AP, so 1 3-up armor save, which passes. Moving along into the assault phase, Bjorn the Fell-Handed will declare charge against Abaddon the Despoiler. And Abaddon the Despoiler will overwatch with the Talon of Horus in rapid fire range, 8 shots total thanks to Bolt or Discipline, hitting on 6s, rerolling, thanks to himself, getting 1 hit and 7 rerolls. And here's the rerolls. Getting 2 additional hits for 3 hits total. Strength 4 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 6s, getting 1 wound, minus 1 AP, so 1 4-up armor save, which passes. And Bjorn the Fell-Handed will automatically make his charge. Going into the fight phase, Bjorn the Fell-Handed will place all of his attacks onto Abaddon the Despoiler. 5 attacks base with True Claw, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s thanks to himself, getting all 5 hits. Strength 12 versus Toughness 5 means wounding on 2s, rerolling thanks to himself, getting all 5 wounds. Minus 4 AP, so 5 4-up invulnerable saves. Passing 1 but failing 4, and they are D6 damage piece. So 4 D6 damage, getting a total of 14 damage. However, thanks to Dark Destiny, the damage is halved rounding up, so the 1 will remain a 1, the 2 4s will become 2s, and the 5 will become a 3. So it will inflict 8 damage total. So Abaddon the Despoiler will lose all 8 of his starting wounds and be killed off. Which means that Bjorn the Fell-Handed will win Game 4, and this character duel is now over. And so, for the final results of Warhammer 40k 8th Edition Character Duels Episode 17, Abaddon the Despoiler versus Bjorn the Fell-Handed, we have Abaddon the Despoiler with 3 wins and 1 loss, and Bjorn the Fell-Handed with 1 win and 3 losses. And while Abaddon the Despoiler did perform very well all the way up until that last game, I do think he is a little bit lucky that he managed to win Game 2. Because if Bjorn the Fell-Handed had managed to just get 1 extra wound onto Abaddon in the shooting phase, or had just 1 additional wound get past the invulnerable save in the fight phase, Abaddon the Despoiler would have been killed off. However, we do also need to give Abaddon credit for passing enough invulnerable saves to keep himself alive, and also, had he rolled a 2 or higher when attempting to activate Drachnian, he not only would have won the game with 2 out of his 8 starting wounds remaining instead of just 1, but he also might have killed off Bjorn in Bjorn's turn. But clearly, Abaddon the Despoiler perfectly handled business in the 2 games where he went first, whereas Bjorn, even in Game Game 4, where he won, almost didn't. Because if Bjorn had done 1 less damage, Abaddon would have survived, and most likely within the next 2 fight phases would have killed off Bjorn. And so within this matchup, Abaddon the Despoiler is clearly the better character, barring the help of stratagems and warlord traits, and there's not much else to say about it. So thank you so much for watching, I really hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next one.